Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays. Yeah.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Sports Sensei. I am your girl Sensei. Thank you for joining us for another week of all things sports related, all sports news. Where else are you going to go to get it other than right here? We have got you covered. We have an action-packed show today. We'll be talking about, is Odell going to be a Dallas Cowboy? We'll be talking about the Brooklyn Nets, as well as what is up with Aaron Rodgers, reminding us he's a two-time MVP, as well as are we trusting Kinfolk Kirk? Find out here on the Sports Senseis. But before that, check out this really cool video that we got for you. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Sports Senseis. I am your girl Sensei, back with my good sis, Ruth the Truth. We are holding it down for our good sis, Jay Nicole, right now, who's not feeling well. But Ruth the Truth, how you doing today?
Man, this week hit me like a ton of bricks. I went to hang out with my nieces over the weekend, and of course, they were having a little bit of the runny nose and the coughing. So I was like, trying to be careful about putting my face too close, and I got a couple snotty kisses. So when I woke up the next morning, I was like, oh man. So I was feeling a little down for about a day or two, but I'm on my way back up. So that's all that matters. But I'm good. I'm happy to be back here with you, sis. So much going on in the sports world. Oh my Jesus. We have a lot of things to talk about. So I'm ready to rock.
A lot of things to talk about, a lot of things to get into. It seems like when we take a hiatus, that's when the sports world is just like, let's everything happen at once.
Yes.
So let's go ahead, without further ado, get started with the NFL. Odell Beckham Jr., as we all know, is still a free agent. He's still out there going on his visits and getting scouted, if you will. But Jerry Jones made an interesting comment, which I can't wait to hear your opinion on this. Made an interesting comment as it pertains to Odell, pretty much alluding to that star looking great on the side of his helmet. So do you think Jerry Jones is plotting on taking a swing at Odell, and are you a fan of Odell coming to the Dallas Cowboys?
Absolutely. I mean, I had a front row seat as a Dallas Cowboys fan to see the greatness of Odell while he was with the New York Giants. There's a lot of Giants fans out there that are upset that they're not really in the buzz of the conversation. But I mean, I don't really think he believes in Danny Dimes. He wants to be on a playoff team that's legitimate. I'm not saying that the Cowboys is the number one prospect, but we're sitting at 6-2 right now. I mean, we lost 2 games, one to Philly, one to the Bucs. But we got a healthy squad now. So I think that Odell is kind of weighing out his options because he doesn't know if he's going to go back to LA. After the Rams lost to the Bucs over the weekend, I think Sean McVay had a lot of little hints that he put in his press conference, like, hey, we need to make some changes. Allen Robinson isn't the answer. This was a bust signing. I want Odell back. Like, I'm pretty sure the same thing I was seeing on that screen and what I was hearing come out of his mouth. I mean, Jalen Ramsey had a lot to say as well, that the defense did all they could to keep the Bucs off the field, and then Matthew Stafford comes out on the field with a minute and something seconds left, and it's a 3-1, and they're out, and you're giving the ball back to Tom Brady with 1 minute left on the clock. Like, you don't do that. That's not the recipe.
You can't do it. You can't do it
together. So, I mean, I would say that, of course, Odell would want to go back home. He discussed a lot of that about him wanting to stay in LA when he did hit free agency, when he did hit the market. But I don't know if LA is on the table anymore, especially with everything that they've been going through. They're sitting at 3-6 right now, and Odell is trying to join a squad that's ready to win, just like how he did last season. I mean, Odell was very unhappy with the Browns, their situation, voiced his opinion on wanting to take a move on. And then, like, what was it, like week 12 or something like that, when he joins the Rams, and he's automatically a part of their offense. He's automatically wide receiver 2 behind Cooper Kupp, and they went all the way to the Super Bowl and they won. So I think Odell is kind of looking for the same formula. So he's weighing his options right now, seeing what's on the table. I know the Packers were in discussion as well, but come on over to Dallas, Odell. You're going to love the city of Dallas. Your son's going to love it. Your baby mama's going to love it. It's a beautiful city, lots to do, lots of entertainment. Not as wild as LA, but maybe you want to take a step away from that now that you're a family man. So I think the Dallas Cowboys, that star would look beautiful on the side of his helmet. I agree with Jerry Jones. But another comment that Jerry alluded to was, if it doesn't happen, okay, like we're in a pretty good situation. I'm not going to be angry. I'm not going to be like cursing Odell, like, oh, you made the wrong decision. I'll be happy either way. But absolutely, Odell would be a perfect piece into that system with Dak Prescott, because CeeDee Lamb is not wide receiver 1 material. I don't think the weight is meant to be on that kid's shoulders. Maybe with maturity down the road, it can happen. For right now, I think Odell would just be that perfect piece, because he's bringing that veteran presence, and he's a beast.
Yeah, I definitely would agree. I do think, as much as I would hate to see it, but I would love to see it at the same time, because I do feel like that is a good space for him to go where he can contend for a championship, which is at this particular point, in his career, that's all he wants. Like, he wants to contend. He doesn't want to be the guy anymore. He doesn't want to be the number 1. He doesn't need to have all of the targets. Shout out to Carolina team. We love you too, sis. But yes, he doesn't need to have all the targets, all the attention. He just wants to go somewhere where he can compete, continue to build his legacy, and he can win and be a part of another contender. So I think Dallas is definitely running for that, for him, as far as it pertains to that.
What other team besides Dallas would be a better solution for Odell and his problems? When you think about
it would be between Dallas, the Bills, or the Chiefs, because I know that those are
nobody wants to play in that cold, Sensei. It's freezing up there.
True. However, nobody wants to play in the cold and lose. It's a whole different ballgame when you play in the cold and win. Now that's the reason why I don't think he goes to Green Bay, is because Green Bay is losing. Now, if Aaron Rodgers had a team that was on the up and up instead of on the decline, he played 6 years in New York. Like, the only reason why he left was because they cut ties with him. Like, he didn't mind being,
which wasn't any better. You're right.
Yeah, so he didn't mind. You know what I'm saying? He didn't mind being in the cold, but it's just the fact of, can we win? Are we competing? Are we contending? And he's not going to contend in Green Bay. He's going to be able to contend in Dallas. He'll be able to contend in Buffalo. Kansas City Chiefs as well. If he goes there, he'll be in contention as well. Like, he just wants to win. Like, he mentioned it the other day on, I think, somebody's podcast. He was like, I just want to go where I can have an opportunity to win. That's his focus. So to me, those are the top 3 teams for him. Yeah. Why
isn't the Cleveland Browns in this conversation? I mean, they got rid of Baker Mayfield. They got rid of the coach. Well, no, I think they still have the same coach when he was still there. But I mean, they got Deshaun Watson coming in week 11. I mean, that is. I wonder if that's even crossed Odell's mind. I'm not too sure. It hasn't been put in the media. No one's mentioned it, but I mean, go back home.
I mean, yeah, I saw that. I did see that. I saw, people were like, he should go back to the Giants, and it's like they didn't want him. Y'all paid him all that money and cut time. Like, why would I want to go back somewhere where you didn't value or appreciate me? Like, there's no point of me doing that. Like, he damn near sacrificed his body, because he was the best, at least offensively, that they had. And where who said he was a cancer in the locker room? Where'd that come from? Have you heard that, Ruth? Because I don't think I've ever heard that about him.
I mean, I've heard it just because with all the noise that was going on in Cleveland between him and Baker.
Yeah, Cleveland. I can understand that. But.
And then, I mean, he does have that. At least when he was with New York, he definitely had that egotistical maniac type of attitude. Like, I'm the ish. I'm gonna wear my $100,000 watch during the game and get fined for it. It's not a big deal. Like, a little bit too rah, but I think he's matured before our eyes. I think there's a lot of maturity coming out of him. I think he has a pretty good lady standing next to him, which makes a huge difference in a man's life. And now he's a father, so definitely a different side of Odell, and that's why I'm okay with him and all this buzz about him coming to Dallas, because I think he's matured and he's also coming to his own. He may not be the best or playing to his best abilities right now, but we'll see how that pans out after this injury.
Yeah, I will give you the New York thing because I definitely think at that time, being so young and he got famous so fast. Like after that catch, it was just like he went from pretty good to like otherworldly, like overnight. You know what I'm saying? So, and he was a relatively young guy. So I'll give it to you there. But the Cleveland thing, I think that I think that with the Cleveland thing, I think that his persona is just larger than life. I don't think that he necessarily was a cancer there. I just think that everybody was looking at it like, you have Odell Beckham. Why is he not successful? Why is he not getting the ball? And it creates this, like, it's kind of like when what Katie was trying to say years ago when he talked about people playing with LeBron. It's not that, playing with LeBron is typically a bad thing because you're going to be successful. But when the team isn't doing well or he's not competing for championships, they look at everything in the aura around him. So it's like it creates this toxicity. And I think that as far as it pertains to Cleveland, that's pretty much what happened. Because we never really heard, I mean, in New York, we saw him acting out on the sideline. We saw him kind of, having that maniac, like that mental kind of meltdown. But in Cleveland, we never saw that. He was actually relatively calm. He was over there cheering for his teammates. He played as hard as he could. You know what I'm saying? He played everything by the rules. It didn't work. Like the situation just didn't work. But I will agree with you on I definitely think that he's a lot more mature these days. I think that he thoroughly enjoys being a father, being a boyfriend. I mean, from what it seems like. So, I don't know the inner workings of their relationship, but from what I can see, he seems happy. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, he seems to really be in love with the girl that he's with, which I love that for her, love that for him. Like that's dope,
Love.
Yeah, love. Gotta love. But yeah, so I think those three teams are make the most sense that I mentioned before as far as Odell, because like I said, at the end of the day, he's 30 years old. He's had a lot of major leg injuries. So he's like I said, he can't be the number one anymore. But I think what I will say to kind of piggyback off you a little bit as far as Dallas, and then we can move on, is that I think he would be a good addition to help CeeDee Lamb convert into the receiver that they are pretty much banking on him to be. Because Odell is a guy who, for at least 6 to 7 years, was at the top of the top as a receiver, had all the attention. Like he was in New York. I mean, being in New York and being in Dallas are pretty much equivalent because Dallas is such a, a magnified team. So that's a guy you can learn from as far as like route running and catching and just dealing with the pressures that comes of being a number one. CeeDee Lamb is still a relatively young guy, so he has the time to develop into that number one receiver. And who better to learn from than a guy like Odell? You know what I mean? So I definitely think that can help. But moving on, I want to talk about everybody's least favorite, Mr. Aaron Rodgers of the Green Bay Packers. Now, the Green Bay Packers currently sit at a lousy 3-6. and in a press conference the other day, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before. I think it might have been yesterday. He was asked about their struggles, and he felt compelled enough to say that that we need to recognize that he's a 2-time MVP. I personally was flabbergasted. But Ruth, the truth, how do you feel about those sentiments in Mr. Rogers pretty much this whole time this year? And also, I want to throw in this too before you answer. Lil Wayne, who was an avid Green Bay Packer fan, like if you know about Wayne, you know that he's always loved the Packers.
Yeah.
He tweeted out maybe last week, I believe, or Sunday. I believe it was Sunday. That they should have they should have gotten rid of Aaron Rodgers last year. And he also went on Undisputed and said that Aaron Rodgers looks uninspired. So thoughts, Ruth the Truth?
All those things are correct. He is spot on, coming from a diehard, realistic Green Bay Packers fan and Lil Wayne. He knows what he's talking about. I hope he makes a rap song about it, and make it go viral. I hope he just drops some bars and mentions Aaron Rodgers and his disappointments. So the world could hear it. I'm always down for Lil Wayne music. But when it comes to Mr. Aaron Rodgers, 2-time MVP, it is what it is. He has a young receiving core. He advocated to get Rondell Cobb back, who is, towards the end of his career. Devontae Adams got shipped off to Las Vegas. Everybody knew that Rodgers was going to struggle. Rodgers should have known that he was going to struggle. You're putting all these new pieces on this offense, all these new rookies, and you're not taking time in the offseason to get acclimated with your new teammates. That was a big red flag from the beginning. Everybody wants to talk about Tom Brady taking 11 days off of training camp, and, they started their season 3-5 and yada, yada, yada. But, I mean, how does Rodgers get an excuse as well for not going to these early training camps, especially when you have all these new pieces on offense, especially a lot of young players? Like I said in our last show, Rodgers is not the type to babysit. He doesn't want to help mold players. He's at that point of his career where it's time to win. You either catch the ball or I'm moving on. But now in these last couple games, we're seeing a lot of mistakes on Rodgers' end too. So are you just in a mood? What is going on in his head where he's throwing 3 interceptions against the Detroit Lions, losing to the Detroit Lions, who I believe are 2-7? Mm-hmm. Something along those 2-6 now. So that was their second win of the season.
Yep.
The Green Bay Packers are sitting at 3-6. So what do they do? Because they're in a decently competitive division. You got Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings kind of running away with things right now. So do you tank your season to try to get some draft? Green Bay isn't known for being a team that wants to build in the draft. We had the trade deadline just passed not too long ago, and we heard nothing but crickets coming out of Wisconsin.
Right.
So is this a Matt LaFleur problem, the head coach? Do we put the blame on Rodgers, who's also pushing back to the media, making those comments saying, oh, you guys need to remember that I'm a 2-time MVP? This is a league where it's about what have you done for me lately?
Say that. Please say that.
We're talking about players that are coming to the tail end of their careers. This could possibly be some of these guys in the locker rooms last season. So you're really going to use this excuse, oh, what I did the last 2 seasons? No, it's about the now. So I don't know how to fix the Rodgers problem. I don't think Rodgers knows how to fix the Rodgers problem. I don't think he's built for the situation that he finds himself in right now in Wisconsin.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Sports Sensei, people of the Sports Senseis, of the fans, our fans out there. What is my favorite word? Accountability. And I think in the main thing, the underlining, the bottom line, the issue, whatever, the common denominator, whatever you want to call it, is accountability when it comes to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has never, and probably never will be, accountable for his actions. He's always had this mentality of, if it doesn't work, it's not my fault. It's everybody else but me. And it can't be that situation all the time. Now, there's been a couple of times that, yes, I can totally agree with him, but this is not the time for that. Because from training camp, you have destroyed your rookie receivers from training camp. Like, you got on them about dropping passes in training camp. These are guys. These aren't veteran guys. Like, these are guys that are still trying to figure it out. That need more than anything the support of a 2-time MVP to say, hey, rally behind them and say, hey, I know you made some mistakes, you made some drops, but let's figure out how to work. How we can get better. Let's figure out how we can work on that. Let's meet outside of training camp, and you maybe come to my house, or we go to a random field and we get some reps in. Like, that's a leader. That's somebody that you want to play under. That's somebody who genuinely cares about you and not just themselves. Aaron Rodgers is selfish. And he lacks accountability, and that's been his biggest Achilles heel his entire career. He could easily have more Super Bowls than what he has right now, but he gets in his own way and shoots himself in the foot, and then he wants to look around and blame everybody else. You can't do that every time. Like, you snaked out Devontae Adams, like I said. Then you throw your receivers under the bus. Then you talk about it's upper management. Now it's the coach. Like, it's everybody but you. And at what point do you remind us that you're a 2-time MVP with your play? Because you haven't played like that. I haven't seen a 2-time MVP when I watch Packers games. I see somebody who is just as bad as the people that he's calling out, if not worse. Yeah, like the rookie receivers didn't make you throw those three interceptions. Management didn't make you throw those 3 interceptions.
Ugly. Some of those were very, very ugly.
Those were on you. So it's like, at what point do you have the same energy for yourself that you have for everybody else?
Yeah.
Like, you want to have smoke with everybody. You gonna have smoke with yourself too, because you got to look in the mirror at some point. Start like it can't just be everybody else.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
At some point, Rodgers needs to turn and look at Tom Brady and how he's been able to handle this end of his career to have success. Brady stepped into a whole new offense, all new coaching staff, all new players, all new division, all new state, all new everything. Okay, in the midst of the pandemic, didn't have OTAs because of the pandemic, but what was he doing? He was breaking rules to meet up with his receivers, with Mike Evans, with Chris Godwin, with Scotty Miller, meeting up at a high school field in the middle of the pandemic to get in some reps, because he knew, I don't want to be coming into this blind. I want to have some type of camaraderie with these players before going into. Yeah. So,
and that's why one thing that I never got to say, well, this, or if they did that, or if this person would have, like, he always placed the blame right at his own feet. Even if it wasn't his fault, even if it was out of his control, he's always been, should have made more plays.
Yeah,
so it's like that same. He has to get that. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me a little bit better now?
Kind of. You're like skipping every other word, but I'm. It's like a puzzle. I'm trying to like put it together exactly what's being said.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, Tom Brady is just more accountable in that regard, and that's one thing I've always respected about him. And Aaron Rodgers has to learn that about himself as well, because if not, it's gonna be the same thing.
Rodgers is about to be 39. Yeah. He is single, never married, has no kids, and he's not trying to babysit. And he's kind of said that from week 1. We kind of knew what we were getting into with the exit of Devontae Adams. We were like, oh, well, they're going to be leaning a lot on Aaron Jones in their running game because he's got nobody to throw it to. So they're definitely peeling apart. I think their front office is all in the hot seat. I think Matt LaFleur is in the hot seat right now. And if they don't get things turned around, I mean, let's look at the rest of their schedule to see how things are gonna, what kind of. I'm pretty sure they have. So they got Dallas. Hold up, let me look at this whole schedule right now, because it's not looking good for like the next 3 games for them. So the Green Bay Packers has Dallas in Green Bay, then goes to the Tennessee Titans, who has a great pass rushing line right now, and then the Philadelphia Eagles at Philly. So
he got a tough out. Yeah,
they'd be sitting at 3-9 by the time we're going into week 13 against Chicago Bears in Chicago. And
they could really be 3-10 because Chicago might mess around and beat them.
Right. Look out for Justin Fields right now because they're kind of getting their act together. They're starting to play to his strengths, which is exactly what they needed to do as an offense. Yep. You need to do what's best for your quarterback because if you're going to have someone be the starting quarterback, you need to put them in the best position with their athleticism, with the things that they know how to do, capitalize on it. We're starting to see that in Chicago. They scored 32 points against the Miami Dolphins over the weekend. It was a pretty intense game. A lot of back and forth. Justin Fields did a lot of scrambling. He made a lot of plays happen with his feet. They kept moving the chains. Look out, Aaron Rodgers. You might have to go to the Bears for too much longer, my friend. Your career is slipping, my dude. And I have all the respect for Aaron Rodgers. He's back-to-back MVPs, Super Bowl champion, been on top of the game. They have the best consistency and regular season records. But you're turning 39. What are you going to do, bud? Are you going to be in Green Bay next season? Are you going to stick around for a rebuild? I don't see that happening. I think this is my hot take. I think Aaron Rodgers is on the move after this season.
I get that. I think that's accurate. Yeah, I think that's accurate. I don't think that's like I said. I really don't even think that's a hot take. I think Green Bay has to move on from Aaron Rodgers, whether he wants to go or not. It's gonna do them more harm than good to keep him. So it's at this point, you might as well just cut your losses and let him, go do what he wants to do at that point. Because I don't think he.
Even when that happens, it's who are they going to lean on? Jordan Love?
Yeah, which
is that their plan B?
I guess because you got to think they drafted him for a reason. So yeah. I don't see why they would draft him just to trade him away or not to have him at least see what he can do. But I don't know. I guess.
If the Green Bay Packers lose 2 out of the next 3 games, I think they're going to realize that their playoff chances are going to be slipping. And if Rodgers keeps throwing these interceptions the way he is or overthrowing his guys the way he's doing right now, I think the Green Bay Packers are going to have no choice but to bench Rodgers and see what Jordan can do to make that decision on whether or not they're going to move on, if they're going to trade Jordan, what they're going to do. But I have Jordan Love starting for the Green Bay Packers probably in the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know. It's really a sad case, honestly. But how you get him is how you lose him. You remember what happened with Brett Favre, and they were so gung ho to get rid of Brett Favre for this guy, and it's now look, and it's gonna be the same thing. It's gonna turn around and bite him in the butt the same way. They're gonna have to end up cutting ties with Aaron Rodgers for the new guy, and let's just hope that the new guy don't is easier to coexist with Aaron Rodgers has.
I heard this super hot take on the herd today. Aaron Rodgers to the Colts next season.
Listen to me. Listen to me and I know you did this just to get out of my skin. I know you did this. I know you brought this up just to get out of my skin. And let me say this. Listen, I've been through enough trauma and pain with the Indianapolis Colts. Okay. The last thing I want to deal with is Aaron freaking Rodgers. I'm sorry. Please, God forbid. Last thing we need. No.
Since we're on the conversation of the Colts right now, they have fired Frank Wright and have hired a new interim head coach to fill the void until they make a new official hire. Sensei, you want to tell the good people who is going to be your interim head coach moving forward for the Indianapolis Colts?
Former Colt. Jeff Saturday.
ESPN analyst Jeff Saturday.
No experience whatsoever. Jeff Saturday. Here's the thing. The Colts are laughable at this point. It's laughable. We are the laughing stock of the league outside of the Detroit Lions and Green Bay this year. But I don't understand that hire. I really don't get it. But I get it, but I don't. And I get it in the sense of this is a very Jim Irsay thing to do. And if you know any history on Jim Irsay, then you know why. Irsay is he wants to be Jerry Jones like, and the fact that he wants to make all the decisions. He wants a majority of the credit. He wants to look like the smartest guy in the room. He wants to look like he just has everything under control. And the truth of the matter is, he doesn't. He's out of touch. He doesn't know what's going on. Why on earth would you hire Jeff Saturday? There are so many other coaches that are way more experienced, way more qualified that you could have went and got, but you chose Jeff Saturday. Why did you choose Jeff Saturday? Because Jeff Saturday is a safe pick. You don't want anybody that's going to challenge your position. You don't want anybody that's going to challenge your authority. You don't want anybody that's going to make majority of the decision. Sorry, because they would get majority of the credit. That's why. Think about it. He had Tony Dungy. He had Jim Caldwell. Both of those guys he got rid of.
We need that Wi-Fi to kick back up for you, Sensei, because we wanna hear what you got to say right now. We want to hear it.
Like I hated it. Like when I saw it, I was not excited because everyone's like, "Oh, we got a former." So, like, what is like? So, who's gonna take Jeff Saturday serious as a coach? Like, what are we talking about here? Like, come on, man. This is a guy that used to get yelled at by Peyton Manning. Who's gonna take serious? Who's gonna take that man serious? Like, let's keep it like. Come on, let's keep it real. Like, it's just I hate it because. And I'm gonna veer a little left here, but it's facts. I hate it because Black coaches don't get the same opportunity. Like Black coaches don't get to be former players and have no experience and then get a job like an Indianapolis coach job. They don't get that opportunity. So for him to automatically get that off the, it's just I hate it. I hate it.
It's very confusing. I had to do my research when I first found out because I'm like, it's not making sense to me. Are they really talking about Jeff Saturday, who was just on like Good Morning Football? Like, is there another Jeff Saturday that is out there that I'm just not aware of? Because you look at the elite experience that they have on that coaching staff for Indianapolis. You have coaches back on there that have 32 years of experience, 25 years of experience, have been in the building for 2 decades. And then you're going to go get a former player who has no coaching experience, like zilch, zero. He's very opinionated. He knows how to speak. He's a great public speaker. Is that what you're looking for? Or are you just looking for a rah-rah guy that's going to hype up the locker room? Because, I mean, you found your guy in Jeff Saturday, but I'll try and hold my other comments because – I mean, all we could do is we'll see. I mean, we can't shoot the guy right off bat. We got to see how this week goes. I believe the Indianapolis Colts are going to be playing the Las Vegas Raiders, who are down and out right now. Poor Josh McDaniels. His job is on the line, or so they say. Yeah, it's going to be a big test because they're going to be playing in Raiders Nation in Las Vegas. So let's see what you got, Jeff.
Yeah, I don't know. Jeffy boy. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of it. Like when I saw it immediately irritated me because I was just that's out of pocket. That's a good one though. David, you get cool points for that one. That's a good one. I don't know what's going on with my Wi-Fi, but anyway, yeah, like I said, when I saw it was just like it just irritated me off the bat because, like I said, I just know this is just such a Jim Irsay thing to do, man. Like it's just such a Jim Irsay thing to do. Like. He wants a yes man. He doesn't really want a coach. Like that's at the end of the day, he doesn't want a real coach. He doesn't want like a Bill Parcells. He doesn't want like a Mike Tomlin. Like he doesn't want any of those guys. Guys like that with that mentality, he's not going after those guys because they're going to challenge that authority and say, no, you're not going to run my team. Like sit up in the box office and let me do this. And Jim Irsay doesn't want a guy like that. He wants a guy like Jeff Saturday who's going to be, like you said, a locker room guy, a rah-rah guy, get rally the troops. But at the end of the day, if Jim Irsay says I want player A and Jeff Saturday wants player X, they gonna go get player A, and Jeff Saturday is not gonna combat him on that, and that's why he was
Eli Manning.
I would have loved to see that. Honestly, I would have, or Peyton. Like, call Peyton. I would much rather have Peyton do it than anybody else. At least have him be an offensive coordinator.
That's what I meant. I don't know why I said Eli. I meant Peyton Manning. Yeah, absolutely, Peyton Manning. I did not mean Eli. I hate that guy.
Why isn't anybody calling Peyton? Like, what? I don't know. I didn't understand.
Peyton's making too much money off commercials and doing his Monday Night Football thing. Like,
honestly, I'd rather have him do the Monday Night Football thing. Yeah, honestly, I would rather him do the Monday Football thing because him and Eli together are absolutely hilarious. Like, I love watching them go back and forth. Like, they're hilarious. I love the Manning brothers. I have
yet to watch a Monday Night Football game on ESPN because I just feel like they would be too distracting. They're so entertaining that I feel like I wouldn't even be watching the game. I would just be so dialed in on them roasting each other the whole time.
Honestly, like if you happen to catch it and you go on Twitter, like they trend every time because it's so funny. Like they literally are just hilarious. Like they have, special guests come on that they interview. Like it's awesome. ESPN has done a really good job as far as like doing stuff like that. They did something similar with the NCAA women's tournament last year. They had Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi and that was again, it was great because they play off each other so well. But anyway, moving on. Speaking of Ruth the Truth's favorite guy in the whole entire world, and he's a single man now. Ruth, you might want to put your bid in. Mr. Tom Brady, can he save the Buccaneers season this season after the come from behind, thrilling in typical Tom Brady fashion, beating the Los Angeles Rams? Are the Bucs back into play? Ruth the Truth, take it away.
It's hard to say. That was a hard game to watch. It was very boring for a good 3.5 quarters on both sides. They both looked terrible out there. Nobody could run the ball. I mean, it was just, there was a lot of things that needed to happen for the Bucs that just weren't happening to kind of restart, to recharge, to add some momentum that they've been lacking for quite some time. They fell 3 straight. Pittsburgh Panthers, Thursday Night Football against the Ravens. Like, they were in a really dark and bad position, and they were desperate to get this win. So it happened for them, but not in the fashion that we wanted. It just wasn't clicking for that offense. So I still think they have a long road ahead of them. I'm not saying that this game wasn't monumental, because obviously winning 3 straight, you're definitely desperate for that win, get back in the winning column. And obviously the NFC South is still wide open. I mean, we got Atlanta in the lead by 1 game. So still opportunities for them to make a playoff push. But the way the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are looking, I really don't have them winning more than 9 games this season, because if they don't do something drastic, if they don't go get Gronk or something like that, it's just, I mean, Julio Jones can't stay healthy. Russell Gage has been out for a while. Akeem Hicks on the defensive line made a huge difference during that Rams game. So that was good to see him back in motion. But yeah, the Bucs just ain't it this season. And there's been talks about Brady, if he doesn't retire, because as you mentioned, he's no longer married. So maybe he's going to play football until he's 50, just like he was joking around about years ago. Could he be on his way to San Francisco to go play with his home team, the 49ers? Because they're probably going to move on from Jimmy. They don't believe in Trey Lance. Kyle Shanahan doesn't trust Trey Lance. So if they had an opportunity to go to get Brady, I feel like it's going to happen. So, but that's if he doesn't retire this season. But looking at the Bucs remaining schedule, it's a little up and down for them. Hold on, I'm trying to pull it up for us right here. So they won against the Rams. They have Seattle. They're in Munich, Germany right now. Then they're going to go on a bye for week 11. Then they got the Browns, the New Orleans Saints, the 49ers, Cincinnati Bengals, Arizona Cardinals. not the easiest road. So as I said, I see them maybe winning 3 out of those next 5 games, and they'll be definitely close wins.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Trying to drop a little bomb drop there about him going to San Francisco. I didn't even think about that, which is definitely an option. I know that's been the talks for the
He's
last
always
couple of
wanted.
years.
I feel like it's been in the windmill of rumors that he's always wanted to play for San Francisco. That's where he's from. His parents are getting old. His parents live out there. I think what would really hold him to stay in Florida or to stay in Tampa would maybe be his kids that are registered here in Tampa to go to school here. But I mean, if that changes and you no longer have a wife and it's just basically you, I can see it happen. Kyle Shanahan being like, come on over, San Francisco, let's go. We got the defense. We got the offensive line. We got the weapons. We got Christian McCaffrey. We got you a great tight end that we know everybody that Brady thrives off of his tight ends and George Kittle. So I don't know. It'd be cool to see, but it would be nice for him to end his career in Tampa because we kind of feel like we own a little part of Brady by him winning a Super Bowl in his first season here. So, but yeah, not the easiest schedule going ahead. I think the travel to Germany is going to put a lot on their bodies they always do. They always talk about those overseas games being pretty tough to bounce back from. And look out for Geno Smith because I feel like that's going to be a real tough game against Seattle. That's not going to be easy.
Listen, shout out to Geno Smith for revitalizing his career with the Seattle Seahawks. Like, he has looked absolutely amazing, like for them, and he's been able to. I mean, he's led them to games. Like, he's been a game at, like, the Seattle Seahawks are looking like the smart ones out of that trade between them and Russell Wilson right about now. Like, they're looking like
Pete Carroll is not staying quiet about it either. Like, he is straight up putting Russell on the burner by making comments like, we're doing things now that we couldn't do before because there was resistance against, making moves. So I think he's putting a lot out there about maybe that inner dynamic that we all thought was perfect in Seattle, maybe not as perfect as we thought. Obviously, it all came to a crushing end. But good luck. Good for Geno. I'm happy for his situation. I'm happy that he was, counted out a long time ago. Nobody thought he was going to be what we're seeing unfold right now. I mean, he's top 3 in most of all categories for quarterbacks in the NFL right now. So he has like 110 passing rating, which is phenomenal. And you're talking about a team that was in a rebuild after Russell left. So, and Chris Carson retired. So yeah, just a lot of craziness going on, but I'm happy for the Seattle Seahawks, and it will be a tough game for the Bucs this weekend.
Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to it as well. Now, moving on, last NFL topic here. Kirk Cousins and Minnesota Vikings. As Shannon Sharp would say, kinfolk Kirk. What is going on? Can we trust this man? Like, is he trustworthy? Is he on the planes with his shirt off, with a bunch of chains on? I don't know what's going on. So what are your thoughts on Kirk Cousins and his play in the Vikings? And are they a serious threat?
I mean, they're 7-1. The Minnesota Vikings are 7-1, and that's beating Green Bay. That's beating Miami. That's beating New Orleans. I think we're really going to see how that's also beating the Arizona Cardinals 34-26. That was a phenomenal game. I think we're really going to see how Minnesota matches up against the rest of the league when they go against the Buffalo Bills, who is kind of dealing with a scary injury with Josh Allen right now. But I think that would be a testament to how good Kirk Cousins really is. Because, I mean, everybody has their doubts about Kirk Cousins because he just hasn't manifested anything in the playoffs, and he's been in the league for quite some time. So I understand why people have their doubts, but I think that a lot of their discrepancies came last season when he wasn't getting along with what's his name, Zimmerman, their head coach. They were not getting along. And I really feel like once you have that QB head coach controversy, it's toxic for the locker room. So I'm happy for Minnesota now, sitting at 7-1, but we'll see how they match up against the Buffalo Bills. And then they go on to play Dallas, who has a really good defense. So we'll see how good they really are. But 7-1, looking pretty good for them right now.
Definitely. I would definitely agree with that. I was actually going to say that. I was like, I want to see what they look like in the next 2 games before I really like give a proper assessment and jump on the bandwagon per se. And as it pertains to the Minnesota Vikings. But I love, this for Kirk Cousins because, excuse me, I feel like over the years he's got a lot, some fair but some unfair criticism. So I'm glad that to see him, be successful and have the success with the Minnesota Vikings. And they just seem like a really fun team. Like, the receivers that they have, Justin Jefferson, like, I forget the other guy's name. I remember the brain freeze right now, but they just seem like a fun group that's having fun, that's going out there, and they're stringing along wins, pretty impressive wins at that. So if they can rat off the next 2 or against at least one of the 2 against 2 formidable opponents, then yeah, I mean you gotta start. 7-1 is 7-1 is cool, but we need to see that against an actual stout team with a stout defense. And they got 2 teams coming up that they can test the waters against both of those teams. So then we'll get to really see how much we can trust a guy like Kirk Cousins. But I mean, they've been impressive so far. I've been impressed with him. I mean, he's managed the game well. He's limited his turnovers. He's looked confident in the pocket, which is something that was a knock against him for a long time. So, I mean, I'm impressed so far. So far so good. I'm impressed. But moving on from the NFL to the NBA, and our last topic for the night, the Brooklyn Nets have a long-term coach, and it's not Ime Udoka. It is Jacque Vaughn, who was named the intern coach, but they have now decided that they're going to make him the permanent coach. So what are your thoughts on that, Ruth the Truth, and what do you think that means for Ime Udoka as far as coaching in the NBA again?
I'm glad that they didn't make the hire. I think that's just adding way too much controversy to a team that's already having a lot of problems when it comes to everything else but basketball. Jacque Vaughn doesn't have the best coaching resume when it comes to his positions at head coach. He was the head coach for the Orlando Magic for quite some time, for 3 seasons in a row, and they lost 158 games in those 3 seasons, only winning, I believe, 59 games out of those 3 seasons. So doesn't have the greatest resume when it came to him being in charge, but he comes from a Popovich tree. He has the experience. He's been in New York for a good amount of time. I think he's well respected in the locker room. So, and he's another black man. So give him a chance. Give him a chance. Give him an opportunity. We've seen a lot of other coaches have opportunities with a lot less on the resume. So I'm happy for the hire. Ime, I think, really needs to sit this year out. Bro, you earned your suspension. Take that suspension. Take it on the chin. Sit out. Like, just sit this one out. I don't want to hear you in all this conversation about, oh, I'm moving on. No. You take your punishment. You have to take a year off. Marcus Smart had some comments to the media about Ime signing with the Nets. He's like, what the heck? Like, we're all expecting him to come back to Boston next season. Like, this can't be really happening. There's no way. Like, this, we've all been bamboozled if that's the thing. And I totally understand where he's coming from. So I'm glad the Nets didn't make that hire. Really thought it would have been putting their organization in a lot more of a hot seat than they already are. I mean, you're bringing on drama with the already dramatized team. Like, just don't do it. Ime, sit this year out. You earned it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I'm with you 100%. Like, he needs to sit this year out. There's no reason for Ime to try to get another job. Like, just sit the year out. Rebuild. I mean, because you have a great situation in Boston, despite what happened. Like, you still have a great situation in Boston, and Boston is still playing great. So you're coming back to a great team, great situation. They know your system. They've been running your system. They're comfortable with you. Like you said, take this year off, learn your lesson, clean your act up, get it together. Make sure you don't ever embarrass Nia Long like that ever again, and rock out. But I think for the Brooklyn Nets, they are a mess. They are a dumpster fire of a mess because you have, and it's unfortunate because you have you have a guy like KD who is playing. I mean, he's playing like KD. Like he's doing everything that you expect a guy like KD to do in his situation. But then, like, look what he has to deal with. He has to deal with Kyrie, which you don't know if he's gonna say something crazy. You don't know if he's gonna show up. You don't know if he's gonna be in the mood to play. You don't know if he's gonna need a break. You don't know. You just don't know. Like, you just don't know. And then you got Ben Simmons, who,
oh Lord,
I'll say this about Ben Simmons. I'm not gonna be as hard on him as everybody else has been thus far, because we do have to realize how he didn't play for almost 2 years. Like, yeah. So it's like and this is NBA basketball. Like, you can't take that much time off and then come back and just be, like that. That's just impossible to ask of a person. So I'm not gonna be that hard on him and say like, oh, he's washed up or it's over or he's never gonna return to form. Like, give him some time, because he has had spurts and has had moments where he's looked like Ben Simmons of old. It just hasn't been strung together consistently.
Sensei, he hasn't scored double digits in a single game since he's been back.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't expect that. Like I said, it's still really early in the season, and he has to like. I'm just gonna give him time. I'll just say that I'm gonna give him like midway through the season before I'm like he's never gonna return to form or he's washed up or whatever anybody else wants to say about him. But I mean, like I said, whoever takes on that Brooklyn job, you're gonna have to be one headstrong individual, because it is a hot mess right now, like real bad. So I mean,
so
I'm happy to
hear about Adam Silver sitting down with Kyrie and them having a pretty good conversation from what the media is telling us. Is Kyrie coming back to play for the Brooklyn Nets? Are they gonna be able to mend this bridge? I mean, I just feel like the Brooklyn Nets, definitely their front office has given so many chances to Kyrie when it comes to all the things that come with the package of Kyrie, like the drama, the constant walking on eggshells, the constant trials and tribulations on media, and it just keeping him away from talking to reporters. It just a lot of baggage is coming with Kyrie. So I've heard that the Brooklyn Nets have given him a very extensive list of things that he needs to do before he can come back and play basketball for them. So, and some of the things I'm gonna have to look up that list to get some more specific things, but some of the things from what I've heard are kind of indicators that the Brooklyn Nets don't want him back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think at this point it's pretty much that ship is pretty much sailed. I think they're trying to figure out a way that makes sense for them to get rid of Kyrie, because they still owe him a lot of money. But I think the writing's on the wall as far as the relationship between Kyrie and the Brooklyn Nets. I think it's pretty much over. I think the fans are tired of Kyrie. I think the upper management is tired of Kyrie. I think Kyrie might even be tired of Kyrie at this point. Like, you know what I mean? I just think that it's just an experiment that didn't work, and it's just like you got to cut ties while you can, because the more you prolong this, the more you let it linger, the worse it's gonna get. Kyrie's not gonna flip a switch overnight and be who they want him to be. Kyrie's gonna be Kyrie. Kyrie is Kyrie. Like, that's just what it is. He's always marched to the beat of his own drum. He's never been a guy that you can get to conform. Kyrie's gonna do what's best for Kyrie and in the best interest of Kyrie. So the Nets have to take on that same mentality. We're gonna do what's best for us and what's in the best interest for us. And at this particular moment, it's sending Kyrie to the Lakers.
Yeah, the Brooklyn Nets want him. Did you say no? I
was waiting on you to catch it.
Wait a minute. I don't even think the Lakers want Kyrie. I mean, I heard it on TV today that the Lakers and their want and that need for Kyrie has been definitely dwindling with everything that's unfolded with Irving. So I don't know. I don't know if the Lakers can make that power move, and Rob Pelinka, I don't think would be smart enough to be bringing Kyrie to the Lakers.
Are 2-8. They are 2-8. This morality that they're trying to muster up, and you don't want to. Please cut it. We need wins. I don't give a good, lovely, what Kyrie believes in. Bring that man to Los Angeles, please.
Yeah, to play with the Clippers.
Heck no. Heck no. They got
Okay,
John Wall. They all right.
To get Kyrie, what are they gonna have to do? Move Anthony Davis?
I think they can afford to keep Anthony Davis. The problem, what they're gonna have to do is they're gonna have to come up those picks. That's what teams want from the late. That's why they haven't been able to get anybody to come to LA because they won't come off those picks. Like the teams are looking at it like y'all got all these first round picks. Like give us a couple picks and we'll give you whoever you want. But they're trying to steadfast hold on to those picks, and it's like, are y'all trying to win right now or win in the future? Like what's kind of the idea here? So they're gonna have to. They can package in Russ, a couple bench players, and maybe about 2 picks at least. And I think the Nets will listen and give up Kyrie for that for sure. Because they want picks. I mean, if they can get future picks, they'll be all good. So yeah, that's gonna be the. I mean, they throwing Anthony Davis in there definitely wouldn't hurt, but it's like, who do you get back for him? Because you can't just. Anthony Davis for Kyrie is not a fair swap to me.
No, it's not. So it would have to be a package deal from Brooklyn. They would have to include probably like Brittany Claxton or somebody like that to that caliber to make that type of package move for that trade. But I mean, shoot, man, the Lakers are what'd you say? They were 2-8?
Yes, ma'am.
And they're about to be 2-9 after tonight, man. That's gonna
okay. Suck. That's disrespectful. You didn't have to do that. Oh, you got to.
All
right.
Well, I heard the funniest thing. Somebody called my Clippers the paper clips today, and I was like, "Who?"
Wow, that is hilarious. That's hilarious. The paper
clips. I thought that was so funny. I'm like, I can't even be mad because we've just been so fragile. I mean, Kawhi Leonard didn't play all last season, and he's not even playing right now, and there's no timeline on when he's going to return, and it's just like, oh man!
Definition of caution. They need to start calling Kawhi caution tape.
Caution tape.
He's the most cautious dude. Like if something grazes anything, he like, look, I'm going to have to sit through some out. I can't. Like, bro, what are we paying you for? To see you in street clothes? Like,
yes, that's exactly what they've been paying him for because that's all he's been doing. Huge disappointment. But I really think that this is Paul George's team. As much as everybody wants to talk about Kawhi and his superstardom and he's won 2 chips and blah blah blah. This is Paul George's team.
Absolutely, yeah, I would agree. Yeah, you got to give him that because he's the only one consistently showing up every night.
Yeah, he's been consistent even on sick days. He's still showing up. He's still hitting buzzer beaters. He's on top of his game and he's really coming into his own and he has that leadership in the locker room. And I really think that they're dialed in and Ty Lue definitely trusts him. So yeah, Kawhi, we'll see when we see you, I guess. Like, I mean, we're kind of used to this now. So, I mean, and John Wall was a new addition and he's been, riding the bench for us as well in street clothes. So I don't know. We'll see. But I know that they're going to beat the Lakers tonight for sure.
All right, well, that wraps up another episode of Sports Sensei. Because Ruth was out here talking crazy, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, at 10 o'clock, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give a quick little NFL feed right now. We got the Trailblazers leading the Charlotte Hornets at halftime, 58-53. We got the Denver Nuggets losing to the Pacers at halftime, 70-56. The Pacers have been like a sneaky team that have been doing kind of pretty decent that no one really expected. The Boston Celtics are up on the Detroit Pistons with 34 seconds left in the first quarter, 28-19. We got the Brooklyn Nets taking on the Knicks. So 2 New York teams going at it right now, 36-22. The Nets lead at the end of the first. We got the Houston Rockets leading the Raptors right now by 10 points, which is a shocker because Nick Nurse got to get that together. Still early in the second period. Tip-off has just happened with the Pelicans and the Chicago Bulls. The Pelicans are sitting at 5-5. The Chicago Bulls are 6-6. So that will be a really good game. to key on tonight. We also got the Milwaukee Bucs that have finally lost. Now they're sitting at 9-1, taking on OKC at 4-6. The game has just tipped off. Another tip-off game that has just happened is the Memphis Grizzlies against the San Antonio Spurs. And then tonight, later on, we got the Phoenix Suns and the Timberwolves. And then we got the battle in LA with the Lakers and Clippers. And the end of night, we got the Cavaliers. Oh, no, not even the end of night. Well, yeah, to end the night, the last game would be the Cavaliers and the Sacramento Kings playing, I believe, in Sacramento, if I'm not mistaken. And then oh my gosh, ladies and gentlemen, the Orlando Magic have just beaten the Dallas Mavericks 94-87.
Oh, wow.
So now the Orlando Magic have taken down the Golden State Warriors and the Dallas Mavericks, and they are sitting at 3-9. I don't remember who the first team was that they won against, but they're sitting at 3-9 with two big West Coast teams under their belt. And then the last game, we got the Utah Jazz taking on the Atlanta Hawks. Shout out to Trae Young. They're at
Trae. Well, yes, that is our NBA recap right there. So make sure after you get out watching us, the Sports Senseis, that you check out those NBA games awesome as well, because I know that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. But again, this is another episode of the Sports Sensei. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Roof the Truth. It's always fun. It's always a pleasure with you. I would like for you to burn that shirt as soon as possible. But other than that,
I got 6 more of them just like it. Like, come on now. And I got a hoodie and I got a sweatshirt for when the wintertime, if that ever comes. Shout out to all my Florida people right now. We have canceled classes, the University of South Florida has canceled classes for tomorrow. So they're expecting this storm it's been upgraded to a tropical storm and maybe a Category 1 by the time it makes landfall. I just got an email from my condominium that I have to bring in all my patio furniture. So I think that they really think that issue's going down tonight. So all my Florida peoples, stay safe, charge your phones now. And yeah, just let's win this one out.
Yeah, no, super praying for everybody in Florida. Make sure you
hurricane season was over, and then bam.
But well, sis, stay safe. You know what I'm saying? If you need anything, definitely reach out and let me know, so we keep in touch. But yeah, make sure y'all everybody in Florida, all our Florida people, man, y'all stay safe and have like she said, everything charged up. Do everything you need to do. Make sure you got everything that you need, because we don't want you out here lacking during the storm. So
Nicole's on her way, people. Nicole is on her way. I've never gotten along with Nicole, so I hope this girl is. She's here on real fast. All right, that's around Sports Senseis. We love you all on the ASAP family. We appreciate the platform, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.